Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Zappy here, back again with Hunter x Hunter. We are on episode 78, and I kind of hoped that the last episode was the one that I only had to record for the day, because it already ruined my fucking evening. It's ruined it! Fucking kids dying, man! Why did I have to do this to me? Stop it! Please! So now I have to get through one more episode where I fucking hope to God, like, it's just... But this is the thing. It's just with how bad these things are. I feel like it's just going to get worse, and it's going to get even worse, and it's going to ruin my days. Every day that I react to the show, it's just going to ruin and. Oh God! Never have I wanted Gon and Killua to kill something so fucking quickly. Can we kill this thing already? Can we kill all of them, please? It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna fucking happen. Let's get Hisoka here to deal with the fuckers, please. That'll be the best. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even need to say anything. Kids, that's it. Right, we're gonna get in episode 78 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Oh, okay, episode 78, and the dread continues. I just it's just dread. It's just sheer dread. Fuck, it's dread, but I mean, I can't sit here and just like act like, oh, I just hate it. I want it to be over because because I don't like seeing people get hurt. But I mean, I guess, you know, that's what you're fucking at. That's what you're in for. That's what you're in for. And I feel like I'm just going to have to accept it, aren't I? So, this is going to be tough. And then you've got the likes of fucking Ponzu and fucking... What's his name coming in? The exotic game hunter guy. I tried to look through in my notes, but I honestly don't think I fucking wrote his name down. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. Like, I think it's like Poku or Poku or Pokeroo or something like that. Something similar to that, which makes me think, are they, like... related, Ponzu, or like in some way connected? I mean, clearly they are because they're together, but I'm just worried now. I'm worried. I said the stakes were high, but they're high, mate. They're just high. No. But yeah, so I'm not going to obviously just say I'm here. I'm going to accept it. And honestly, I'm kind of intrigued and interested in how they're doing the Chimera ants themselves, because when they were first introduced 2 episodes ago, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, then, like, the villains beforehand have been humans, so you can kind of get their motivations and things like that, and it works. And then all of a sudden, like, a big fucking Chimera ant queen shows up, and you're like, that's going to be the villain? how is this going to work? But I get it now, and I'm interested in how it works, because everything that is born has some sort of semblance of the thing that they are created from, that they were eaten in the first place by a queen. There is something there that holds. But they are characterizing insects that you know, almost have no right to be characterized. You know, because I said during the reaction that generally, obviously in real life, when you're talking about things that, you know, like ants or anything that really has a hive, like bees, for example, like, you know, what Ponzu has, there's generally like a queen bee, and then all the workers and everything, they don't really have their individual sort of, they don't have like individualistic like ideals and stuff like that. They just work, and that's, you know, they do their job, what they're basically programmed instinctually to do, and then that's what they do. Whereas in this, it's obviously, because they are characters within their own sort of like right, whatever they are born from, and mostly because it's now humans, that they, you know, that they have their own thoughts and sort of ways of going about certain things, which makes sense why Kurt ended, like, I mean, I'm going to call him Kurt until he gets a new name, because I feel like, well, he would, because they wouldn't know what his name was, unless Kurt himself, like, inside feels something, he's like, Kurt, I like Kurt. So unless that's the case, you know, it's it makes sense as to why he was given a squadron leader, like you know, position, because he was a human. So therefore, you would have had the mind to sort of to get that position in a way, if you know what I mean. Because even a kid, as how old he was, how was he, like 9? I think the mother said that he was in the last episode. That he's still like, you know, it's the brain of the human that he gets that has basically put him at an advantage above like crabs and shit like that, you know. I mean, that being said, I mean, you've got the like of the crocodile guy who's a squadron leader, the turtle guy. I mean, but that's the thing, is like, because it seemed as though the first squadron leader was Kurt, that you could probably surmise that the squadron leaders that came after did get like human within them, but they were just made with like almost the priority on appearance of other sort of DNA that they got from different animals and stuff. And yeah, so Queen's an interesting one because apparently she has human in her genome, which I don't think that's a throwaway line. I think that is interesting, and I don't know how far they could possibly go with it, because I don't see how an off, like, you know, like an outside perspective would know what created that queen. So I wonder if it's a case of their sort of, they develop over time, and if they get memories and stuff, we might be able to see maybe what you know, like where she came from in a way. But it's also weird because, well, that in that case that means a queen birthed a queen. But then again, if I'm talking about it like, you know, for instance, like chess, any pawn can become a queen. So, you know, if I guess that that could possibly be what it is. And it may have something to do with the point in time where that queen got her fucking, you know, like one of her things chopped off, you know. And if we get any sort of backstory on what happened there, then it might unveil some things which could be interesting. I just don't think it's a throwaway line. But yeah, she's already got the royal guards in tow, but the king not yet. So I don't know what difference is the king. That's the question, really, isn't it? Like what? Is there something that needs to happen in order for her to have a king? Like, does she? Because we'll have Kurt who's talking about nutrition. Maybe it's a case of like it needs to be like full on like nutrition in order to create a king. Maybe like the most nutritious things from maybe certain. Because I don't know really what. Because I know there's like, you know, it takes DNA from a thing that it eats. But if you're talking about nutrition, maybe there's a case for like if they were to eat, and God fucking forbid this happens, if they were to eat Kite, would he be greater than the rest of them because of his stature and position within the actual world that he is now, and like his ability, you know? I wonder if that would be the case. Because I'd figure the king would have to be the top of the, like, you know, the hardest motherfucker out of all of them, right? But yeah, I don't know. So I mean, but anyway, you know, going with that whole thing of they all have sort of their characteristics and identity depending on who they were before and what they got given because of what the queen ate. If the queen ate Kurt, and Kurt has got some semblance, because it seemed like he did, but I also have another thing of because he was the one that was so on the get the quality one, and he's not the quantity kind of guy, so he goes for the quality. And at that point, his mother was not eating, and she wouldn't have been like highly nutritious anyway. So it could be both. But with them talking about how they all have their sort of individualistic things going on, it makes me want to believe that he may not have saw his mother, or he may have felt something there anyway for his mother, maybe, but I think it was more of the protection thing, because that was what he was beforehand. That's what his whole earnest thing was, and also they picked up on the earnest thing. Like, he's the earnest type, that, you know, his whole thing was protecting. So maybe it was, I think it might have been more that than actually knowing it was his mother. You know, I mean, but you know, you could be talking in percentages. Like it could have been like, you know, 80% the protection, 10% his mother, 10% not highly nutritious. It could have been like any one of those things. I'm just glad I think the girl's all right. But considering the fact that they could just keep spreading, like another one could just come back and take them anyway, and it's just like, ugh, I hate seeing. Can we not see any more kids anymore? I mean, I know the fact that the odds are that there are always going to be kids around, you know, but I don't need to see them be happy and then taken away. Please, don't ruin my life. So yeah, it is interesting as well, because when I'm talking about like the highly individualistic like thing that they've got going on, but they do also have the hive mind thing. Like they're able to communicate across like vast distances because of their minds are connected in a way. And also they also said that the queen can't talk. I think that's what they were saying. So she can only communicate via the mind signals or whatever. Maybe it's because they were so close, like proximity wise to her, that's why they got the ringing, because it was so close. I don't know, because they didn't get it when she was talking, when they were out, and you know, oh no, they weren't talking because it was Kurt that was talking. I don't know. Fucking God knows. I don't know. So yeah, we also got the mention of someone called Gyro, and there's sort of like a resistance that sort of cropped up, but also just not in. I call it even a resistance. I only said that because of the way that they look. Like they look like some sort of like resistance that's like kind of cropped up. And originally, obviously, I thought it was like it was something to battle against the Chimera ants because they saw them sort of, you know, they could see this coming, so they need some protection. But also considering the fact that they are now they were in a different part of the world, right? I don't know where it was. It could have been York New City. I don't know though. It was one of those places. So I imagine whoever this king guy is, because of where he is situated in the NGL or somewhere around there, that he has obviously got this sort of maybe almost like, I was going to use like mafia-like kind of thing, you know what I mean? But we've already had the mafia. I suppose it could be similar where it's just like, because they have this drug sort of running operation that they've got going on. It could be something like the cartel. It could be that, you know. Yeah, we'll go with that. I think that's probably the most liking that I could liken them to, based upon what I've seen, is like the cartel. They're running a drug smuggling operation that just happened to, you know, because if they have like farmers out there that are farming, they could, you know, if these Chimera ants are coming in and killing their workforce, come in and protect them, you know. So yeah, it could be that. So yeah, the NGL, which is Neo Green Life, which is basically living in nature and banning every use of any fucking technology, meaning that even if it's interesting that Kite was talking about how they like it's a mother nature thing though as well. Like it's not just like living in nature. It's basically like if some event was to happen where they were wiped out, they would accept it because it's nature's way, and it's like survival of the fittest kind of thing, which I guess doesn't really deter them from just like trying to fight back and then whoever wins, but it's kind of like they have this sort of exception that it would, and it's crazy. I mean, you wouldn't think that considering the fact that all the farmers running stuff, but you know, I don't know, it's a crazy sort of thing that they've got going on over there. But yeah, it also just makes sense why, even if they were to try and get the word out, there would be no way that they could. That's the thing though, with this talk about like technology and stuff, Ponzu and Poku and whatever the fuck his name was, they picked up a radio signal from there and they intercepted that, so there has to be some technology there, and guess what, it's probably Gyro. If there's any place there that would have that, then it probably would be Gyro, right? I'd imagine. Although that being said, NGL was just like one part of it, right? If that was the only part of those islands that actually have that, then maybe the other areas will be fine with technology and stuff. The only problem is that they were talking about how they were going to go over there and they wouldn't allow technology. But if there was technology there, then it would be fine, right? I just, considering where they picked up the radio signal, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I figured at some point like these characters were going to show back up. I'd imagine the ninja guy is going to show back up at some point as well. You know. But interesting. I wonder if Poku, whatever the fuck his name is, has gotten has he worked out Nen yet? Because last time we heard he was struggling with Nen, right? And that was quite a while ago now. I think it was back with Wing actually, wasn't it? Like he was talking about how all of the participants that actually got through and got their hunter license, all learned, like they were like what stage they were in Nen and stuff. And I'm pretty sure Poku was like he was struggling with it, right? So I wonder if at this point he's actually, because quite a lot of time has elapsed, so I wonder if he's gotten to that point yet. It'd be interesting to know if Ponzu has as well. I think maybe being a manipulator, considering her control of bees, would be likely. But you know, I hope nothing happens to Ponzu. I feel like she's been so hard done by in this show. Like she got done in by the cave guy, Borbin was his name, right, with the snake handler guy, and then you know they used that fucking. That gas to knock her out, and then they took her tag, so she failed. And then she came next hunter exam, and then Killua came and just knocked them all out. And you know, can we just get Ponzu to like, you know, actually have a good time for once? That would be nice. I just feel sorry for her, man. So yeah, I mean, talking about gyro and whatnot, the drug. So it's called DD, right, or D squared, D2. I think it's DD. That's what they were saying. And yeah, that's all. Oh yeah, the last thing I have is the thing at the end where Gon was talking about, you know, if there ever came a time where like Kite was actually like in trouble, no, I wouldn't back down. And you know, I was saying, of course not, because I mean, we knew he wouldn't. He's not that way inclined. You know, he wouldn't have even had to have like had this conversation with Killua, because even Killua says like, well, I know you wouldn't do that anyway. Like it could have come down to that sort of like a scene where Kite was fucking stuck and they had the option to run away, and Gon would just have gone in anyway, and I knew he would. I know that he would have. But I think the main thing that I got from that was over the course of like some episodes, recently in the Greed Island arc, against fucking Genthru, that I was annoyed at how Gon was being selfish. Now, when you talk about like someone being selfish, the you know, it's generally considered that if you're being selfish, you're doing it for yourself, right, and you're not considering other people. I think it's actually interesting now with that sort of motivation that Gon was talking about, that it rounds out his thought process. And being selfish, it's not that kind of selfish where he's doing it primarily for himself. The subtitles and what he was talking about kind of made it more clear for me as the reason why Gon does what he does, and it's not that he's being selfish for himself, but he's being selfish because he doesn't want to let down his dad. I think that's what it is. He's got this sort of chip on his shoulder where, because of Jean's status, it's almost like Gon has to either he has to compete with it, be on the same level as something that Jean would do, or even surpass it in a way. So I think I'm going to lay off of him on him being selfish at times. I mean, I still will call it out if by what he wants to do, by doing that, he ends up getting one of his friends hurt, or fucking God forbid killed. You know, I'll let him fucking know. But I think, you know, I was probably a bit harsh on him during that Genthru thing, and I think his motivation's a lot more well-rounded now, and I think I understand him a bit more. So that's that. Yeah, that's all I got. So yeah, I mean, I'm sort of excited, but I'm fucking scared mostly. I'm anxious and nervous about this arc coming up because it seems a lot more fucking dark than previous. So yeah, I just don't want any more kids. All right, please, just keep them out. Keep them out of the show. Keep them out of the show, right? Aside from obviously God and Killua, because they need to be there. But anyway, yeah. So that's all I got. So thank you for watching. In the description below, I've linked to certain things. One of them is a Discord, so you can get yourself over there. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier, $5 a month, gives you access to shows a week early. And you get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week, as opposed to the usual 2 that the general public get. So by the time this episode comes out for the general public on YouTube, I may have finished the whole of Hunter x Hunter, and you'll be able to binge watch the whole thing from here until the end, just for $5 a month if you can get it done in a month. So it's good value. There's also a full length tier there, For $10 a month, you don't have to worry about that with this show, because obviously this one's just full length anyway. But for other shows like My Hero Academia and things like that, if you want to watch a full length reaction for those, you will have to get that. And there's other tiers where you can pay to have a show reacted to. So if you want me to react to a certain show, then go have a look at those and see what's what there. But that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.